Rise and shine, beautiful.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to What the Flick. I'm Matt Atchity. This is Christy Lemire. We are the only ones who saw I Smile Back, starring Sarah Silverman.
And so here we are.
Here we are.
Okay, so Sarah Silverman previously has dipped her toe into more dramatic waters in Take This Waltz from a few years back, which was great. Here she flings her entire self in completely as Lainey Brooks, an upper middle class suburban wife, mother of two, who seemed to have it all, the McMansion and the SUV, but she also has an alcohol problem and a drug problem and a sex addiction problem, and she's a total mess. And it's about how she tries to keep that balance between her life and her true deep inner demons and how they descend in upon her. Take a look.
How much do you love me? Oh, good. Oh, good, oh, good, oh, good. Promise you'll never leave me.
She turned around and gave the kid a huge smile. Whatever it took, he knew he was going to marry that girl.
And did he?
I'd marry you 100 times.
Nobody tells you that it's terrifying to love something so much. Oh my gosh! Why didn't you call me?
You were in the hospital.
I mean the 30 years before that.
Why did you stop taking your meds?
They were making me fat.
That's bullshit.
It's true.
So you'd rather be insane? Lady? Rise and shine, beautiful.
I have to decide what it is you want.
I just want you to be happy, Lainey, like you used to be.
Mom, I can't breathe.
Don't you want to be happy?
What do you want?
I'd love to smile like that again.
So I have a ton of respect for her for doing this, for wanting to stretch, and she's been inching toward more dramatic stuff.
Right.
You could argue there's a lot of drama in her Vanellope von Schweetz character in Wreck-It Ralph. There's more substance there. She is really willing to go to dark places.
Yes.
And the script is not. It's really superficial. It's really frustrating. There's so much more you want to know about this character. You need context about her life, and it's just not there. So it's the word brave gets tossed around a lot. Yay, she's brave for doing this, but I wish the script were there to bolster that.
Yeah, I feel like the story doesn't back her up, and it's frustrating because she is willing to go to these ugly, nasty places. And we see her do something that not just comic actresses, but a lot of actors in general aren't willing to go to. It's a really raw performance, but what's frustrating is you kind of only ever see this one side of the character, this character that acts out. And you'll see this character from time to time, like, yes, there's a bit of recovery, but then there's acting out again, and you never get into, you'll see in movies like this where somebody's struggling with addiction or some kind of compulsion, a lot of times you'll see somebody go and get treatment, and then there's this crash out, and you get the sense from that character that they know that they're having this, they know they're relapsing, right? And a lot of times the drama and the tragedy comes from this person who knows, a decent example is like Shame, right? Like,
Yes.
He's
aware of his
he's
problem.
aware. He's aware of his problem, and he can't stop himself. And this story never gets you there with Lainey. Like, she's just kind of acting out, and the people around her husband doesn't understand. Like, her kids don't understand, and if there is an awareness, she doesn't acknowledge it, and the script doesn't let her, and it's frustrating.
Right, and part of the problem too is that she's a mess from the very beginning. Like from the very start of the film, she's doing lines of coke by herself in her underpants in the bathroom while the dad's playing basketball. Josh Charles plays her husband, and so there's not this great fall, and there's no context as to who she was. Like there's some skimming the surface of her daddy issues, right? Her father abandoned her when she was 9, but as far as her marriage, like that never makes sense. What that connection's about is never believable. There's this incredibly clunky scene in which they go away together for the weekend, the husband and wife, and he does this like retelling of their meet cute at the newsstand, referring to them in the third person, and like it's a device to try to flesh out their marriage, but it feels really flimsy and it doesn't work. Yeah, and I didn't believe a whole lot about this life. And this should have been devastating. This should have
Right.
this should have wrecked me, and it did not. As a mom and as someone who has been the child of addicts, it should have wrecked me on multiple levels, and it never did. It's superficial.
And there's another movie we're going to talk about that I don't want to get into too much, but there's a character that you see in that movie who is making mistakes and letting the breakage in her life control her, and you can see that she knows that that's happening and can't stop it. And the way Lainey's written in this movie, you never get there, right? It's just it's almost this series of like, look what other awful stuff she can do, and you don't get a sense of not that I'm insisting on seeing self-loathing in a character, but like you never. It's just this character. Like it might as well just be watching a series of train wrecks, right?
And it
like
is.
even in
It is
Trainwreck,
that.
even in the movie Trainwreck, like Amy Schumer's character in that, like she knows she screws up and she tries to make it right, and you see her struggle with that. And I think that Amy Schumer's character in Trainwreck is deeper than what we see out of Lainey in this.
Interesting. Yeah, this does feel very episodic. Like she screws this up, then she screws this up, and then she screws this up, and maybe that's realistic in terms of real life. In there's no
Which it
tiny
is,
arc in real
right.
life, but it doesn't necessarily make it compelling from a cinematic
Right,
perspective.
but shit, if
There's
we
no
wanted
momentum.
to watch real life, we wouldn't go to the movies.
Right, there you go. So what is your number then? Our numbers are low here.
Like a good performance all around. I mean, from Josh Charles too, but the movie really lets him down. I give it a 5.5.
I say 5.3, so our average is a 5.4. Easy math for us.
And
it
it's
is-
55% on the tomato meter, so about where we are.
Okay, so more good stuff will come from Sarah Silverman. This is encouraging, but this is not it. Thanks, bye.